Well, good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program. I am Scotty Roberts, and right over there is my counterpart, Wendy Robertson. How you doing, Wendy?
Hello, sweetie. I'm not too bad. Yourself?
I'm good. I see we dressed appropriately for each other tonight.
We did, and we didn't
So-
even know.
Didn't even know. Folks, I think that is the sign of. Is simpatico the right word, or is what's the word for coming together, coagulating? We are one spirit, as Zorro said to his horse. I will call you Tornado because we are one spirit. But we come in many times, and it's like, hey, we both decided to go steel blue today.
We did.
So how about that? So I'm glad you did. Hey, everybody that's gathering over in the chat room. Carlene Smith is here, and we've got Dead End Collective. That's Niall over in Ireland. He says internet dating is a disgusting practice. He's taking the first salvo, and we haven't even introduced the topic. Everyone lies about their appearance, what they're like. Then when you meet someone, you're desperately looking for some common interest. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about that. And Niall, I think for the most part, you're pretty spot on with that assessment. So today, Wendy and I, we were talking about this earlier. And Wendy, you jump in on this whenever you want to. We were discussing this, and it turned into just a conversation. And we were getting fairly impassioned about different things that this singular question brought up. Internet dating. Where does that go? Why do people do it? Why do people lie so much when they're doing internet dating? Are there valid reasons people internet date? And then, so you get all of those basic questions out, then you move those aside and you go to the deeper issues of why do people internet date? Why do people lie about themselves? Why do people not put forth? If I were approaching Wendy online, did not know her, and I wanted to perhaps win her favor and maybe meet up and go out for some coffee or drinks or whatever we want to do, why would I present a false image of myself online and then show up and look like a fat old guy, or a dud, or whatever it might be? Wouldn't I want to present my first best self and face forward? Say, hey, this is who I am. It don't get no better than this. This is what you see is what you get. What do they call that? WYSIWYG? What you see is what you get. And that's the way I would present myself. Now, the way we dress, I could dress down. I could put on, let's say I could, I don't know, this is necessarily down, but I could put on my MAGA cap. I could wear it backwards and hide my white hair. I could wear a t-shirt. I could wear a sleeveless t-shirt showing off my armpit hair. I could do all of those things, or I could wear a nice suit. See, some people say, well, you're lying by wearing a suit. No, I'm not. This is who I am. This is how I dress. I dress nice, and sometimes I dress dirty. Sometimes I look good. Sometimes it's like I don't wear my assless black leather chaps to a business meeting, but I might wear them for some other occasion. So, Wendy, jump in on that. What do you think? Let's just take right off with this.
Well, I think we're following this show because we started this a couple of episodes ago, and it was such a big topic that we actually said we'd come back and look at it. Words fail me. You think you know someone and you truly don't. I think we're all, the search for love for as long as human beings have been on the planet, they have been looking for their partner, their
Yes.
other half, their soulmate, their twin flame. And words just come out of people's mouths really, really easily because words are cheap. But actually coming up with actions behind it is incredibly different. And I think when you go on the internet, before we had the internet, how did we date? How did we meet people? You went to the pub, you went to a village fete, you went to the fair.
Right.
You went online. In England, we had teletext dating, or we had classifieds, and you looked down and you on the newspaper or magazines, and you talk to people. You went out to a disco, whatever. Then the internet came along and lots of dating sites came up. Let's just name some of you. Match.com, Plenty of Fish, Bumble, Hinge, Badoo, the list goes on. Everybody is looking for something, their ideal person, their perfect person, their soulmate, their person for the night.
Soulmate. I'm searching for my if I were ever to put up an online site on a dating site, I'm searching for my soulmate.
But
It's like, right.
Some people truly are, without joking about it.
Some are.
Really are. Or
I would never put that on a profile for a
some
page.
People are looking for the night. Some people are looking for casual. And do you know what the most dangerous type of person is? The person that thinks they know what they want, but they don't.
Oh, but they don't.
They make out they are the most ideal person for you. They come on strong, they give it to you with both barrels, and then halfway along the line they change their mind, or they go, well, I thought you were, but now you're not. Now anyone can do that. Anybody can do that. But it's damaging because the internet, as though it's wonderful, internet dating is wonderful. You get to meet people you would never have met before. Some become really good friends. Some people you end up marrying. I for instance, married, my ex-husband, who I met on the dating. Do I regret meeting him? No, I don't, because it changed my life and it changed me into who I am. Do I have demons from that? Of course I do, like I do everybody else. But I have to say that when I was on the internet, what you see is what you get. I don't change. What I look like, what I dress, what you see on those pictures is what you'll get in personal life. What you may not see is the inner emotional side of me, because I tend to keep that locked down, which has been hard to do of late, because obviously I have been emotionally open because of personal circumstances.
Sure.
And people can take advantage of that. So I think that with the internet and with dating, it's very easy to criticize it. I mean, I understand Niall's point of view and his opinion. It's very easy to criticize it, and it is horrible, and you can meet lots of demons from it. But some people have met the love of their life. Some people have had, met good people, and the swings and roundabouts of both.
Well, I don't want to offhandedly dismiss it as being a complete negative. And by the way, let me just say, Wild Heart Resurrection, who is sitting in the wings, we're not going to bring in callers quite yet, so you can stay there if you want to, or just go say hello over in the chat room, and we'll get to callers in a little bit. All right, and you never know who you're getting. It's like internet dating is like people calling into the show. You never quite know who you're going to get. So this is a problem, I think, that you find with internet dating. I know Rainey, my wife, Rainey, she had, and I may have brought this up in the other show we did about internet dating, but she met somebody before we were dating. I knew her for about a year and a half prior to us getting together. But she used to come to my little gatherings, and she came late one night on a Thursday, scotch and cookies at my house, and I had friends over already, and she came in looking like $1,000,000, but slightly lit. She'd had some vodka, and she had somebody she met online that said they were, this sounds so typical, but remember, this is 20 years ago now. So it's old now. It wasn't old back then, but she met somebody who claimed they were a brain surgeon or a surgeon of some kind or something like that. Now, 20 years ago, Rainey was 23 years old. And so she went out looking gorgeous. They were supposed to meet at a little place called Moscow on the Hill, which is in St. Paul. It's Cathedral Hill, which is up across from the Capitol. There's a big cathedral there in St. Paul, and the whole strip is old Victorian mansions for 2 miles down from Cathedral Hill. And but there's a little restaurant, Moscow on the Hill. And she went in, and she's waiting for this guy to show up. Never shows. Never actually hears from him again, even though they had texted all the way up until the point she left for this meeting. Yeah, I'll meet you at Moscow on the Hill in a half an hour. And she walked in looking fantastic. And after waiting for about an hour, half hour past the time he was supposed to meet her, the bartender said, your guy's not showing up. And Rainey kind of told him, and he started feeding her. Moscow on the Hill was very well known for homemade vodkas. And so he started giving her vodkas. He gave her free drinks for an hour and a half, something like that. And then she drove over to my house. She got to my house by about 10 o'clock and was in the bag, half in the bag. And she said, I shouldn't have driven, but I thought I'd try to make it here. And so these are the things that happen. Now, that one's pretty light, pretty... She didn't get involved with this person other than to believe that they were going to meet. And this person never did show up. She never heard from him again. What happens to people who meet somebody online? Now, Wendy, you said you married the guy that you met online.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be not exactly what you wanted, but you guys got that far.
We were.
Now,
well, we
would
were
you call him... You
6.5.
guys are still friends with each other.
No, that was I've been married twice. My second husband I met on Plenty of Fish, believe it or not. We were together for 6.5 years, so I can't actually say that was a short-lived relationship.
Sure.
It wasn't, and it changed our lives because he left his home country to come here and be. Not that I wanted, not that I was asked him to. I think the thing is, everything and I say it's one of my favorite sayings, everything in life is a gamble. It either works or it doesn't. And if you don't give it a go, a proper go, you'll never know if it's going to work or not. And I feel that what happens with internet dating a lot of the time, you've only got literally 2.5 seconds to make an impact on someone before they swipe you. And the thing is, years ago when we used to split up with someone or a relationship didn't work, it was like, oh my God, I've got to go out and find someone. Now you just sign on an app and you just like, oh, I've got all these people to choose from. But I do know of people that have gone out for drinks. They've met up with people and they have they've had a great time. And there's been lots of chat going down. And the next thing you know, we're going to see each other again. It's going to happen. And they never see him again. They never hear from them. They get ghosted or whatever.
I love what Niall just said here. I put it up. And then the speed of internet dating is alarming. Go from not knowing to someone, to having a few drinks, to going home with someone, to having sex, to waking up beside a lunatic you don't know.
That you go down that road.
I hate to say it, that can be the truth. But there's also people here in the chat room that are saying, I met the love of my life.
Yeah.
However, prior to our union, I did have others in my life to compare them to. Valerie says, I dated a guy I met on a dating site, and we dated for 2 years. Tracy Willis, who I just met face to face. And might I add, because it's superficial and I'm a guy, just as gorgeous face to face as she is in her picture there. There you go, Tracy. But she's sitting over there somewhere. But she could throw in some opinions too. She said, I spent 13 years. Was this in a relationship that started online?
Yes, it was.
Tracy,
Yeah.
wow. So they sometimes were obviously that worked for Tracy for a while. And you're not still in that relationship, I'm assuming by the sound of that?
They're
No.
still friends. They're still friends, but they're not together now.
But they didn't stay together because they were enemies, so something must have worked there,
Yeah.
at least for a time. Who else said something? I met my wife, says Curtis. I met my wife online dating. So people do meet online. I may have mentioned this. I've had people this isn't really online dating, but I met somebody at an Irish pub many years ago, this is 1998, 99, 2000, let's call it. Met her in an Irish pub, gorgeous woman. Ended up very young, but ended up young, relatively speaking, to what I am now. She was in her 20s. She was an assistant prosecutor for one of the counties here around our city, and short brunette hair, and very professional and very good, very gorgeous. And we met at the pub, but we ended up talking for 2 or 3 weeks online, just emailing or chat room back and forth. I can't remember. Was it Yahoo Messenger back then? Something like that. And we finally got together for a little bit. And it didn't last long, but that's not online dating. But we met, and, I think she actually said to me after 2 weeks, she said, I think we ought to stop this typing back and forth to each other and meet each other again face to face. Let's go out. So she asked me out. And Damian Mike says, please call me, please. Call me. This is my number. Call me. Why are you giving out your number, Damian? So, hi, what do you think about what she is saying? This is Damian. Well, what do we think? So, what do y'all think? So anyway, Wild Heart Resurrection, is that you? Are you Damian Mike? I can see you. Nope, he shakes his head no. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you and I talked about a little earlier today, Wendy.
Yes.
About why people do what they do. You've already brought up the question about why. I don't know if you pointed it so much in this direction, but you hinted at this at least. Why do guys especially come online and immediately, if you meet them on a dating site, they're acting very sexually toward you? Do they anticipate that because you look good and you have phenomenal cleavage that you're somebody then that they should be able to talk to, naughty and nasty and dirty? Do they, because you put your best, I was going to say your best foot, it ain't your best feet that they're looking at. They're looking at other parts of you. And so do they assume because you look the way you look that you are therefore somebody that they can talk nasty to? Now, I wouldn't do that. I think it depends on, and look, I didn't even describe what I meant by that. They might look at you, they might look at Tracy, they might look at somebody else and say, this is a beautiful woman, or this is somebody I'd like to talk to, but they come off talking very badly. Almost immediately, they might introduce themselves, and then they're right away talking nasty vernacular about sex and bed and all of this stuff. And that's one problem you face with some of these guys. And then they disappear. Then you'll have guys that will call you, and I've heard these stories, not because it's happened to me. And maybe you want to talk about this because some of this has happened to you in one form or another. Guys that are really nice, and they talk to you, and they might spend a while saying, I'd like to get to know you. And they talk to you for a while, boom, 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 gone. And you never hear from them. Their profile's gone. They're gone. I tend to look at that and say, that's probably a guy who either found somebody else, he was talking to more than one person, and he ditched all the rest, and you were one that he ditched, or that was somebody who got caught doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. Or there are other more nefarious reasons, obviously, that people do these things. What's your input on that?
Well, I think everybody's got their own motives and reasons for doing things. It's just it's a pity they're not more honest about them. I think we'd be in a lot better world if people were more honest about, you know, who they really are. I mean, I think you're talking about the guys. I mean, I'm personally quite lucky because if I even get a message from someone that says, or had a message from someone who is hi beautiful, hi sexy, I just delete them. They don't get anywhere with me. You have to have a conversation with me for me to even want to get to know you. I think what more for me is what I was saying to you is about the love bombing, where you get love bombed and it's like they're constantly messaging you. I want to see you. Let's go for a drink. When can I, get to you? But the ones that actually get inside your head are the ones that, because, internet dating is very dangerous, because if you are vulnerable, if you have issues, if you have anxieties, if you're, it can play with your head. It can really make you feel very worthless. It can make you feel not very vulnerable, and all the other kind of feelings. What's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me?
Right.
I know lots of female friends say to me, what is it? I talk to these guys, I'm not even having sex with them. I'm not even seeing them. I'm not even having sex with them. And it's like, bye-bye. And they've just gone.
Yeah, gone.
I have been in that situation where we can all change our mind, but you know what? Be a woman about it. Be a man about it. Pull your big girl and big boy pants up and do it face on, instead of hiding behind social media or ignoring someone, because you know what? It doesn't work that way. And I have a lot of respect for people that I have met through the internet or have dated that's just like blah, 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 blah. It comes across better. And I think women especially have that conversation. And I, obviously being a woman, I would know, chat to lots of women. And they're like, why doesn't he talk to me? Why has he gone quiet? Why is his meshes is different? Or a woman will say, a guy will say to me, because I know guys going through it just as much, she blanks me. She won't talk to me. She was there 1 minute, gone the next. What did I say? What did I do to her? I thought we were doing really well. And guys go through it just as much as women do. I, as a woman, you sort of feel embarrassed that my fellow women are doing this and not giving a good rap for the rest of us. But I also think as well, people lie. They lie about their age. They lie about their social status. They lie about their, single status. They also lie about
their what status?
Single status. I'm single when they're not single. They're
single.
Someone,
I heard dingle and I thought, are you using some weird vernacular for male genitalia? Sorry about that. But I make no apologies. I just misunderstood you.
What did you think I said?
Dingle with a D, meaning, okay, is this a Britishism for a polite Britishism for male junk? So that's what I thought you were saying. My apologies.
But it's like, in the old days when you didn't have that makes me sound so old, in the old days. But in the days gone by, we would just, I'm sorry. You rang them up. You rang them up, or you wrote a letter, or whatever you did. Now it's just like, delete, don't answer, ignore. I think there's a lot about you as a person, right? It shows you about your manners and your upbringing and your morals and your integrity as a human being, whether you're female or male, is how you treat another person. If you treat another person as if they are a option instead of a priority, or if they are, oh, you're all right, but no, I want you, no, I don't. It says a lot about you as a person. You treat others as you want to be treated yourself. And I think from what I've learned from my friends, from other people, from men and women, is that people don't treat each other as we want to be treated. In fact, some of us treat other people, well, we should be ashamed of how we treat people.
Right. I agree. Well, let me ask you on that, how people are treated. Obviously, I'm sort of throwing a spice in the stew here when I ask this by
Yeah.
saying that. Why do you think? What are the reasons? And I'm thinking of guys. Maybe I could answer this because I'm a guy better than you can. But your take, looking from the point of view of a woman, why do guys or people in general go to online dating? Is it because they don't have the ability to meet somebody in person? Now, let me be honest. I've only ever used online dating once, and it was a couple of years before I met Rainey. And so we're talking, 2001 or two. I went and I did some online dating, and I didn't date anybody. I just wanted to meet somebody and say, what is to this? I put up my own picture. I put up real information about myself. This is what I do. This is who I am. And this is, what are your interests? What are your likes and dislikes? Blah, blah, blah. The whole routine. And so I filled out a profile, and I got one person that, well, I got a lot of hits, but I got one person that wanted to talk to me. And so keep in mind, I wasn't old and white back then. I was a younger man. Sorry about that. This happens every time we are on this show. And every time I forget to have turned my ringer off. So this one person presented themselves. She, according to her pictures, she was beautiful. Talked very nice. Oh, very cool. And then we talked for a couple of minutes, and she said, let me say, you want to see some more pictures of me? And I'm saying, sure. And she sent more pictures, and it wasn't the same person in the photos, and it was a very different looking person. And I'm sorry, this is so superficial, but she was not a very pretty person. She tried to jazz up what she didn't have very cheaply, and this didn't have any component to why, very little, but she wasn't even the same race as her photograph on her site. And I said, which one's the real you? And well, the ones I sent you. I don't like to put up my picture because I don't want to, I don't want to draw fake people in who just want me for my beauty. And I'm like, well, didn't you become a fake person yourself to try to draw somebody in? Just be yourself. And I ended up not wanting to meet her after that. It just did not appeal to me after that. So why do people do that? Why do people lie? Why do they put up fake information? Why do they draw you in? And Wendy, in your case, waste hours and hours and hours of your time talking and just disappear, or are not what they say they are? Why does that happen?
Bluntly,
there's
a lot of fucked up bunny rabbits out there.
There's some truism.
There is some people out there that sadly are. I'm going to put my glasses on because I've got some notes here and I want to bring them up, right?
Here, I'll put mine on so you feel more comfortable.
That's okay. You do that as well.
Go. Now we're glassed together.
The fact is that there is a criteria about love. Everybody's searching for it. There's someone out there for me. There's someone out there for you. There's someone out there for everyone. I'm looking for the soulmate. And you know what? Movies, social media, books, everything like that over the years have all highlighted the falling in love, meeting the perfect person, someone who ticks all the boxes and all the things they need.
Right.
I think they go online, and they go, hang on a minute, I may not look that great, or I may not, I might not have the greatest figure or whatever. But I think people lie, or they don't tell you the truth, because how would they draw you in otherwise? Because if they actually said, well, actually, Wendy, I have an issue and a problem, and you might not want to know me if I tell you that. So they wait till they know you better. We all do it. All human beings do it. You're not going to go, hey, by the way, but actually, I have to be honest, when I was online and Henry died, and a lot of people said to me, how are you today? I was like, actually, I'm really shit. My dog died, right?
Yeah.
And I was very honest from the start about who I was as a person, right? What
Yes.
you see is what you get. I'm not a woman that the only thing I don't show is I won't show you my inner heart, right?
Yeah.
Until I've seen a bit more down the line. But
Mhm.
what you see is what you get. I won't bullshit you, and nor will I bullshit you or baffle you. I'll tell you as it is. And I think a lot of people hide behind the computer, or they hide behind the phone, because if they were to be seen for who they really are in themselves, they A, may not have the confidence, B, they might have an issue, or C, they're just they're not going to fancy me. I mean, there are
Right.
guys online that are making their age, what we all do, our age younger,
Yeah.
because they're saying women don't want to know me if I put down 60. Women don't want to know me.
Yeah.
Are women got that fickle that we really don't want to know a man if he's in his 60s? I think
Now,
that's rubbish personally, but
I will
some
tell you, I haven't really lied, but I've omitted facts on resumes. When I have, last year saw a great job come down the pike. And I thought, if I put I'm 63 years old and I've been in this field for 45 years since I was 18, they're going to go, we don't want to hire the old guy. He'll probably be dead before we meet our next quarter, or whatever. So sometimes you fudge a little. My distant cousin on the Jewish side, he told me he was big in advertising, made his huge career in advertising, and we were talking once, and this is 15 years ago. He says, first thing you need to do, he says, Scotty, dumb down your resume. He says, don't take it all the way back to 1981. He said, you don't want to do that. He says, go back 10 years. And he says, you don't have to lie about your age. You don't have to do anything. Just take your resume back 8 to 10 years and leave it at that. And he was right about that. So I understand the need in certain cases to not be fully forthcoming about certain details of your life.
yes.
However, it would seem to me that if you're trying to win the affections of somebody, or what could eventually turn into the affections of somebody, why would you present a false reality of who you are? Because if you ever hit it off with that person will be somebody that is going to find all that stuff about you anyway. I will name one thing, and I don't think I have ever talked about this. I don't know if I've ever talked about it to you, frankly, in all the time I've known you. It was just before you and I met, just before Rainey and I met. There's a lot that happened in that 4-year period between my divorce and meeting meeting Rainey, and all of that. So this is a long time ago, over 20 years ago. And there was a woman I met online. Beautiful picture. Reddish brown hair. What do you call that? Auburn. And talked and talked and talked. She had a house in Scotland. That's where she stays. She sometimes is in New York. And now, mind you, this is in the infancy of a lot of this online stuff. This is way back in the early 2000s, 2000, 2001-ish. And so we're talking. And this went on for weeks. And I was thinking, I had just won sole custody of my children, so I wasn't free to just pack up and go fly over to Scotland, wherever she was living. And so after a few weeks, she said that she, Thanksgiving was coming. I remember that. Thanksgiving or Christmas. It was a holiday. And she had given me her phone number, and we had talked a few times too. And she had this gorgeous voice. Very, I would almost say, like, think of Demi Moore back in the 90s, her voice. And she had that sound to it. And she had done some modeling, she said, for advertising. And she showed me a couple of things that she had worked on. And oh, very cool. Very above board. And a lot of her stuff seemed to check out. And then, as it turns out, without shortening the details on this, it turns out that somebody else that she knew that I'd gotten to know as well online, checking her out, said, well, she was murdered last week in a public restroom in Washington, D.C. or something like that. And of course, I was fairly heartbroken about this. And I talked to this friend of hers who gave me this information. And without even masking it, it was the same voice. And then it turns out it was the same person. And the whole thing about the woman with the Scottish house and all that was all fabricated. And the problem was this person, I had also let this person get close to my twin daughters, who were at the time 12, 13. And they were very broken up by this, the loss of this person. And if they are listening to this show tonight, this would be the first they've ever heard this coming from me. But, and I asked myself this question. I was disgusted with this person. And the friend, quote unquote, wanted to maintain a friendship and did for years on my social media. And I don't know why I allowed that to stay there. There was nothing romantic. Nothing. She was a married woman, grown kids. And yet I let that finally fitter out and go away. I didn't want to have much to do with it. And I was incredibly, well, there was a hurt factor to it. Then there was an anger factor to it. Now, maybe you can speak to that a little bit. There's the hurt of saying, hey, by the way, Damian, Mike, this show is not a dating service. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you're obviously English is not your first language. I don't know where you're writing from, where your phone goes to, but I will kick you out of the chat if you continue. Okay? Sorry, everybody else listening. If you want to date us, date Wendy and I, just let us know. But stop the incessant requests in the chat room. Okay? Hopefully I don't have to bring that up again. JP says, interesting to just assume they're lying. There could be a plethora of reasons. Defaulting to they're lying is a sad way to look at the world. Except when you catch them in a lie. Jason, then it's lying, and I'm very comfortable saying they're lying. But I understand your point, too. Tracy said, some lie because it's the only chance they have to flirt with the opposite sex. See, now there's a possibility right there. I get that part. I know of a lady who uses fake profiles on FB to gain attention of men because her normal self wouldn't be able to. And, you feel sorry for people like that. She's trying to get why is it the only thing that gets the attention of men is great cleavage, a pretty face, and all of this. That's because that draws our attention. Men are visual. We start as visual beings. We're drawn by the eyes. Mm-hmm. And we're not usually drawn by, sometimes we can, but you can read a profile about somebody and go, wow, that sounds like an amazing person I would want to know. But then maybe, like Tracy says, maybe that person is somebody that feels physically that they could never attract somebody.
I think we're looking for connection, right?
Yeah, looking for connection. Okay,
and so that's a very good thing to think about, because even if you know you're not going to be what someone's looking for, like with the lady, she's putting on a fake profile because she's not getting the attention she would normally get because of how she is. She's still seeking connection. What we all constantly search for is love. and connection, because we're human beings. We have a deep-seated need and desire for connection, companionship, and understanding. And most people struggle to find love due to lots of different factors, including personal insecurities, past experiences, and pressures, and so sometimes when you want a relationship, but you don't quite know how to give one, because you self-reflect on yourself and go, well, I can't
Sure.
do this. You project out to be something you're not. And it's that projection that can actually be quite dangerous, because you're actually not the person you portray yourself to be.
Yeah. By the way, Wildheart, who's sitting in the wings waiting to come on when we open up the chat, he said Demi Moore with a Scottish accent is kind of scary. I thought I read that at first as kind of sexy. I was going, oh, that's kind of sexy. So you hear that gravelly voice of hers, and she's talking about, let's go get us a wee dram, shall we? Eh? So, yeah. I have a good friend in Glasgow, Heather White. She's come into the shows a few times. Heather, if you're listening, you should call in a little bit. I don't think you have any experience in this, but she's got a great, I would call it a rough Glasgowian accent. And by rough, I don't mean that in a bad way, in a negative way. It's not, your high and mighty Scottish brogue. It's a down to earth and earthy broginess about her. So I want her to call in just to hear her talk a little bit.
But from the other side of the coin, there are good people out there as well.
There are
people that are genuine and down to earth and real, and portray themselves who they actually pretty much are. And sadly, some of them get a bad rap, and some of them don't meet them, because majority. Right. If you go for using Bumble as an example, Bumble is a dating site that you have to match, and then the woman has to make the first connection, because the guys can't message, so you're literally going through like this, and then you might meet someone and you match, and then the woman has to initiate the conversation. And then what happens is you send a message to the guy and he doesn't message you, and you're like, hang on a minute, but you matched with me. You saw my picture. You read my profile. You matched with me. And now you're not answering. You're not talking to me.
Yeah.
What is the point? This is my point. Like, why even go on a date?
Was it really a match?
If you're not willing, to, and how long? I know someone that always says the 3-month time is the dodgy time. Like 3 months is when you're dating someone, whether you want to be with them or not. I disagree with that, because I don't think you really get to know someone that well in 3 months. I think it takes a lot longer to get to know someone.
Okay. So when I was in the church, the Protestant Baptist church, we were taught that, of course, obviously, no sex before marriage, abstinence until you're married and you take that vow. We were taught it was almost like a modified version of Old Testament mating. Is that, and what I mean by that is, you saw somebody, you liked him, you just said, we're going to get married. We're going to get married. I'm going to become a pastor, and you're going to become my wife to iron my shirts and cook my meals, and we will have sex together when we plan to have children, and never the twain of our naughty bits shall meet. Other than that, and it's kind of the way it was, and yet, I've been married before. I've been in relationships. I could not imagine trying to get into a serious relationship without knowing that person so much deeper and better. Yes. Maybe even, it doesn't always have to be sexually, if you agree on that, but sexually, could you imagine getting into a marriage with somebody and then finding out sexually there's huge issues there? That would change the whole landscape. Yes. But then maybe, is that supposed to be, well, you're supposed to not love them for the sex anyway? Well, no, but that's part of it.
Yes.
That's part of a relationship.
Intimacy, isn't it?
So intimacy.
Mm.
and sex and intimacy. Sex, as we talked about once before, sex can be intimate. Sex doesn't have to be intimate. It can just be, you know, grinding naked bodies together and be really fun. So you have to determine, how do you determine certain things if you don't have the ability to determine those? Okay, that's kind of a back burner topic. Let's push it over
But
there.
it's impossible to say that you know someone, or no, you've seen enough. Obviously, if there is toxic, if there's
Mhm.
abuse, if there is unfaithfulness, or if there's any kind of issues like that, you are going to run a mile. But how do you really get to know someone unless you actually spend time and
Right.
investment and in energy on it? You just don't, because you haven't had the time.
And you shower together.
Well, exactly. Or, you've got to
Yeah,
have that. You've got to build up on it. And I think so many people,
sure.
we are a throwaway society.
We
We
are.
throw things away. Oh, it's not working for me. Flip.
Mhm.
Or, oh, I haven't got the time. Or it's going to. I am so fed up of that. Where is the real people out there, genuine? And I'm sorry to sound a bit jaded, but I've been on this earth
You
for
don't sound
half
jaded at all.
now, and I can turn around and say that where are the real genuine ones that walk the walk and talk the talk and are
Right.
consistent with it? They are you can count them on one hand.
Yes.
And I think that if more people were like that, relationships would have a better chance. So would marriages. But I think
Yes.
people are searching for something, and if they doesn't meet their ideology, or it doesn't fit right, well, I'll move on to the next one. We throw away.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you, maybe this is a topic, I don't think we've ever hit this topic dead on, although we've talked around it many times. What about those relationships? And now this is veering a little bit off topic.
Mhm.
Those relationships where there are some people who've cheated. Um, I read many, many articles, and I've heard many, many speakers over the years that said cheating doesn't necessarily have to end a relationship. They said it all depends on the person, the people involved, the kind of relationship they have. They said if somebody, let's use ancient language, commits adultery in a relationship, are they redeemable within that relationship? I think that all depends on what that couple decides is best, or what the other person can or cannot tolerate. Uh, I know it was, even in the church, it was one of the only valid reasons for divorce was adultery or addiction or
Yeah,
abuse. The
yeah.
three A's, we called them. And so what if somebody does that? What if a woman finds, and I put it in this context because I think, okay, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it seems to me more men do this kind of online dating thing in subterfuge than women do from within relationships. Um, when a guy does that, should a wife let it go?
Well, I can talk from experience because my ex-husband did that exactly. We
Huh?
were married, and he was still on internet dating sites saying he was
Boy.
single or divorced. And
Mm.
he actually did meet up with somebody and actually ended up having dinner with them, drinking wine with them, cozying up on a sofa with them, and having jacuzzis with them. And I
Oh,
actually didn't
well.
know about any of this until I actually found voice messages, and
Oops.
it was a real shock to the system to know that this was going on. And it was like, obviously, he had an issue. He had lots of issues, but he had an addiction
Yeah.
to this whole affirmation,
Sex
reassuring,
addiction.
like that he was. But it broke me as a person. I was like, you've
Mhm,
broken your
mhm.
marriage vows. You might not have slept with
Sure.
them, but you
Right.
have been intimate in a way that you're not supposed to be with anyone except
Right.
your
Right.
wife. So, yes, I forgave him more than once because I believed in my marriage vows. I'm loyal, which these days actually doesn't count for anything, but in for so many people. But if you make a commitment, you stick to it until it comes to a point where, as Princess Diana says, there's three of us in this relationship and it's a bit crowded. I stayed with that for 6.5 years until I had to, sorry, just JP's bit caught me off. But you
Sorry, I
stick
didn't mean to distract you with that.
you stick with it. And the thing is, with cheating, I think you have to look at the reason why they're cheating. Why did they cheat? Is it because they're not getting something they don't want? Do they have an addiction? Are they serial cheaters? You have to know get to know the person behind it and go, why did you do this? What are you getting? What are you getting from it? And what is it you're not getting? And I think this is the most important question that we should always ask somebody before we date them. And 100%, what is it you're looking for? And what is it you are not looking for? What is it you want? And what is it you don't want? Because if you write that down and you've got it, you know exactly. But I think with cheating, it's so easy to cheat these days. Super, super easy to cheat, right? But you've got to find a reason why.
Nowadays, it's really easy to cheat.
Why did they cheat? Why have they gone looking for someone else? There's more than one reason.
Is the why somebody goes looking for something else? Let me ask it this way. Is that any more valid than expecting that the other person wouldn't ever do that to you? That they don't have the self-control, that they don't have are they looking for excuses to go somewhere else? Is the other person, are there times where the one party in a marriage is kind of hoping the other person will do that so they can end it and feel like they're justified ending it? Either withholding or pushing or whatever it might be.
I think, unfaithfulness is so destroying and self-destructive. And it doesn't have to be sexual. It's even because it gets in your head. What's wrong with me? Why are they looking at someone else? Why have they gone to someone else? Why am I not good enough? Am I not sexy enough for them? And I think everyone who's been cheated on or has been found out, the other person's being deceitful, they don't realize the damage they leave with that person, because then when they go on to meet someone else, they've got all this damage from the other person that's left it with them. But I think for the cheater, I sometimes wonder, I'm not going to sit here and say, we're all perfect. We're not. We're human beings. We fuck up. We make mistakes. And we all, hurt people along the way, all of us. And I think all we can do is, if you make a mistake and you hurt someone, you should be man and woman enough to actually stand up to it and take it head on and face them.
Right. Like you all know, and everybody knows my story 14 years ago. Had an emotional affair. Rainey wasn't sure what she wanted to do. And I said, you know what? I said, you are, by all rights, you can do whatever you want to do at this point. If you want to walk, there it is. I would prefer that you don't. I would prefer we fix the problems and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the path she chose. So, and that's been now 14 years ago. So,
But there's always more than one side to the story. There's not just the one side. And I think that as human beings, we are all looking for affection and connection and to feel wanted by our partner or partners or whatever the situation is. And if we don't get it, in the end, it's human nature to go, well, I guess I'll go elsewhere then. How long can you starve a human being of affection?
That's a good question.
Before
how long should a person feel that they're starved from? I've known people where one party says, I'm starved for affection, and the other party says, how was that put? I'm trying to remember how it was put. They're starved for affection, and the other one says, totally, what's the word? Does not validate the point, and says, no, I won't give you affection unless you do A, B, and C. And the other person says, I can't do A, B, and C, or there's a problem with A, B, and C. Maybe I'll do A, B, and C if I got more affection. Are those two people that are perfect for each other, should be perfectly split up? Those are the questions you ask. And you wonder, what's the valid thing for those people to do? Go look for something else online and stay where they're at?
And it's so easy to do that.
That's the thing. It's so easy to do.
Internet dating, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the other ones, they're everywhere. Like, I mean, it's a nightmare out there. It's like they could come from every area,
Now, I don't know the whole thing going on between Val and JP and their conversation in the chat room, but JP says, how is that effort defined? He says one person's definition of effort or appropriate or adequate levels of effort can vary greatly from one person to another. Maybe in this this couple I referred to, maybe one person perceives the effort as being lax. Maybe the other person says, I don't know how to do any different than that. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, or tell me how I should show that differently. Or if I have these roadblocks, can you show me how I overcome those roadblocks? Or if we both know each other, do you know, has anybody ever heard somebody say, well, we've been together so long, if you don't know me by now, then you don't pay much attention to me. And the other person goes, I know you very well. I just didn't know you weren't that way all the way along. What's changed? Is it just me? Is it just you? What do people do when they find themselves at those impasses? And again, I know our show is about internet dating and the foibles, the pitfalls, and all that come along with it. But these are some of the reasons I think that people do that. Maybe some of the reasons they step out. Maybe some of the reasons there's unfaithfulness. Maybe some of the reasons that, even though it's wrong by our standards of marriage, why do people do those things? Because they're craving something they don't have.
I mean, look, we don't sit up here to preach to people, right? We both come from experience.
I hope that didn't come across that way.
Let's be honest. We've got over 100 years experience, right, between us, and we have been married, divorced, children, cheated on, lied to, betrayed, abused, and loved and cherished and wanted just as much as everybody else is. We are trying, we come out here to try and share, and to so other people can come in and give their stories, because it's something that people want to talk about. But it's like none of us are here to judge another. None of us.
Right. I agree. And on that note, should we let some other people come in and comment? You ready for it?
Ready for it.
Okay, I've got one guy who's been waiting since 5 minutes into the show. And that's Wildheart Resurrection. Wildheart, I don't think I know you. If you pull any antics, I'm going to pull your plug. All right? Here we go. Wildheart, how you doing? Do I know you?
How's it go? You don't know me. You do know Sterling, though, I think. Sterling.
Okay.
Yeah, he put me onto the link. But I've enjoyed the show so far. Yeah. All
right. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I've just been enjoying the show. I think you spoke a lot of sense. I'm from the UK, like Robertson. You're both looking very, very good, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And it's nice to have a fellow countryman.
There you go.
I'm normally outvoted by all these lovely Americans, and to
there you go. Yeah, well, like we always say, guys like to say, "Hey, when do you?"
Finally,
the only thing that would look better on you, the only thing that would look better on you, is me.
Exactly. But finally, one from the UK. So go UK.
There it is. Go UK.
What do you think? What do you think of the comments we're bringing up? What was your name again? So sorry, because I can't see it.
Or David.
David.
Nice to meet you, David.
What's your take on this?
Yeah, I think you've been making good points. I am struggling to. I think I have autism, so I'm kind of struggling to.
That's all right.
Love. Yeah, I think. I'm kind of struggling to find love, and a lot of the things you said about dating sites and everything, yeah, kind of resonates with me.
You know, it's not easy to find love. We're all looking for it one way or the other. And it's not just finding love. Love is quite easy to find. It's finding someone that can live with us and all our quirks and our failures. And when you first meet someone, people come across or can come across as this wonderful, perfect person, or, you know, pick me. I'm the one you want. And as time goes on, they either show the real truth, or we see things about them that we think, well, that's not for me. And I think that's the hard part, is actually going, well, how many points do you have to have the perfect person? There is no perfect person. There's only certain things about them that we actually think, yes, I really like about them. I always say it's about chemistry, and it's about connection, and it's about communication. If you have those three things to begin with, you are on the first rung of the ladder. And then if you have humor and a bit of compassion, and you can
and you're damn cool.
Exactly. And you can talk to each other for hours about anything.
Yeah.
So it's not about finding love. You can find love anywhere. It's about finding the connection. And so many songs talk about, David, the soulmate. And we are all looking for our soulmate. And some of us do find it in our friends, in our lovers, in our family. The soulmate is someone that you feel, I know this person. I have this instant feeling that we are recognizable. I cannot remember you from somewhere, but you are there. And Scully and I must do a show on soulmates, and that we've been asked to do this before.
Yeah.
It's like we are all bitter and jaded and have been lied to and let down, etc., etc., etc. But we still go out there and we try again. Never give up on finding someone who's right for you. And it's like, and please give it more, unless there's abuse or there's grief or there's toxic stuff, take time to get to know someone, because people don't always show you who they are at the beginning, and you never know, as time goes on, you might actually find out they're pretty amazing.
Like JP says, sometimes just sharing silence for hours 100%. Without getting weirded out or worried.
There is one person at the moment that I can do that with. We can just be silent and just talking to each other, but be silent, and it just works.
I think
I like talking. That's the thing. Rainey and I, because we're parents of 3 kids, ranging from 9 to 14 years old, we're so busy all the time that there is no time, it seems, to talk. No time to do. Our talking is in snippets, or texting each other. She goes to work at a little shop and she texts me, "How's your day going?" I go, "It's going fine. How's your day going?" And she says, "Oh, this happened." I go, "Oh, this happened. Okay, I'll see you after 2:00." And so when we get the opportunity, sometimes we'll get in the car and we'll go drive somewhere, and we babble, and we babble out everything. And then, so I think being busy, we used to have a saying when I was in ministry years and years, decades ago, before I gave that all up for Lent. When I was in ministry, we used to have a saying, and it was rather tongue in cheek. We'd say, if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. So we used to say, you might not be a bad person, might not be doing anything bad, but look at your busy level and look at how busy you get. You can sometimes be so busy that you forget what you should be doing.
I think that actually comes from the Bible. The devil makes work for idle hands.
Yeah, there's that.
Can I ask you, David, are you on any dating sites at the moment?
Me?
Yes.
I'm not. No, I've already found love. She's just not.
Oh,
did you use
Yeah, she's just not realised it yet.
Oh,
I've already fallen in love. She just doesn't know it yet. Yeah, there it is.
Did you
That's the
go on any? Did you go on any?
one song of most males.
I have been on dating sites. Yeah.
Which ones did you use?
I can't. I only went on a couple. I'm not too familiar with them.
Did you find them? Did you find them easy? Were they stressful? What was your experience?
They were. I don't have a good opinion of dating sites. I think it's too superficial, like you were saying, with the just swipe to the left of you. I think I'm interested more in an intellectual kind of relationship rather than.
If you can talk to someone, it's really important. If you can talk about anything for hours and not talk about anything for hours, and you're in silence with each other, that's a really good indication. And you know what? Not every relationship is perfect. I've not had perfect ones. Scotty's not had perfect ones, but it's about. I think it's about the person who also goes the extra mile for you. Like if you know someone who's got your back and will support you and go the extra mile for you, those people are rare, whether you're friends, whether they're family, whether they're lovers, because you know what? It's a hard world we live in. And it's a very fickle world we live in. And it's also a very superficial world we live in, where someone's looks or body or whatever can be swayed just like this, you know. And so I think if you've got someone who's got your back and supports you, that's half the
I think like you said, with the dating sites, it's all based on the pictures. But you could not like someone initially on the picture, but get along with them really well when you speak to them in person.
Have a photograph up, and you just had in the old days in Cosmopolitan. I'm going to use this. I used to like Cosmo, and Cosmopolitan used to have at the back the classifieds, and it would just be like white single male.
Sure.
Looking for love, and you look at it and you go, "Oh, that's all right." And I actually
GSOH,
and I have to say of him, I had a date off the classifieds. He said he was a lawyer and he was 6'2" and he was gorgeous and all that lot. Let me tell you, when he turned up at the tube station, I was like, you completely fibbed. That was the shortest date I ever had. But I was still nice enough to go on the date because that's what you do. Niall, what about you? Have you ever been on there? Have you ever done the whole internet dating?
Oh yes. That's why.
You know that this is going to be an interesting conversation with Niall. You asked him simple. Have you ever done that dating?
That's why I'm very cynical about it. But not just because of the people who are out there, also because of my own motives. I'm 56 now, but when I was between the ages of 45 and 50, I really went into that dating world big time. You know, plenty of fish, Tinder. You know, and I thought I was looking for love, and in a way, I was looking for companionship. And there's a subgenre to the dating sites, which is specialist groups. In my particular case, I was into music, so I would join music groups who people who shared my taste in music, and through that, then I would get to know various people, and they would pop up on the various dating sites. So I felt like I knew them already because I'd known them usually under a different name from a music site or something like that. So there was a bit of that went on with me. But it was a soul-destroying experience, Wendy, and for me because I was a bit older going into it. I kind of got obsessed with it. I knew the person that I was talking to was probably lying to me. There was always an undercurrent of kind of sexual innuendo that went on, you know. That happens more with older people than younger people, in my experience, because they want to feel attractive to the person that they're talking to.
They want to feel what they haven't had for several years.
So there's a little bit of sexting that might happen, and then And then, you know, the dates themselves, when you do turn up, most of them were pretty okay. But there was a couple of horrendous instances. One girl I met in a restaurant, for example, her phone kept ringing throughout the meal. She kept turning it off, you know, this kind of thing, and looking, turning it off. It's nothing. And my mother keeps ringing me. And the next thing, this guy comes in to the door, you know, and he starts shouting and screaming, and it turned out to be her boyfriend who found out that she was on a date with some guy.
Oops.
And yeah,
you're like,
so a couple of those kind of things happened, and then on the other hand, I did meet some wonderful girls. Not many now, Jesus, but two girls who were genuinely interested in taking things further. And then all of a sudden, I got cold feet. I was like, well, what are my motives for going into this dating thing? Is it just for you know, I went on plenty of dates where we just had a bit of fun. As I said, I was into music, and a lot of the people I used to meet were into the same type of music. So we'd go to a gig and then have a few drinks afterwards. Usually end up getting drunk. And you know, there was a number of dates where it was like, oh, listen, I'll give you a call. It was a great night or whatever. And that's fine, you know. And then there was a couple of very intense dates where I knew that this person was very nervous, and I knew that they were lying to me, and I knew that they were in another relationship. One was the example of the guy walking into the restaurant, but there were a couple of other examples of the phone ringing all the time, and just someone being very nervous. You can read their body language. You know, they don't really want to be there. There's something else, you know. And when you're in the older age bracket, of course, there's a lot of baggage, you know. So it could be somebody who's cheating on their husband, or they're just recently divorced and they have teenage kids, and then
I'm sorry.
When I went through that for about 5 years, on and off, not constantly. And I started questioning my own motives. Why am I doing this? Because the couple of girls that I did meet, and they said to me, "No, you know what? I really like you. I think we should take this further." You know, because I was never a guy who demanded sex or anything like that. Now and again, I would get into the sexting thing, but it wasn't a big thing with me. And then I found that I was getting smothered. Because the women who I'd met were in their late 40s, and initially it started off usually divorced, nearly always divorced, and kind of clingy, became kind of clingy, and then they wanted to know what I could do for them, and then once or twice I started to go out with someone and called around and met their kids. You know, they're 14 and 15-year-old sons and daughters, and I felt really awkward. And I was like, why am I doing this? I'm not going to find somebody really on this internet dating. You know, first of all, there's too much baggage there in this age group. My motives are not clear to myself. Why am I doing this? It's not to meet my soulmate. Really, if I was to be perfectly honest with myself, maybe I'm just trying to fill a hole within myself.
Sure.
I'm not so shallow that I thought I was just going out for a bit of fun, and I was never into one-night stands or anything like that. So I think I probably just wanted some company, you know, or companionship. But the girls that I did meet who I was genuinely attracted to, and they were genuinely attracted to me, I was the one who messed it up because I wasn't willing to give the full commitment. And I didn't realize I wasn't willing to get the full commitment, you know. So yeah. So for that 5-year period, I came out of it at the end, and I said to myself, I'm never doing that again. It's too confusing. It's too soul destroying. It's confusing for the person themselves. It's confusing for the person they meet. It's there's too much baggage. There's too much lying. There's too much expectations. There's too much this, that, and the other.
Now,
so anyway, that's it. I just throw that all out. That's
we
pretty
were
much what I have to say.
Well, that was good.
something mentioned along the way here was sexting. So
Yes.
while you were talking, Niall, out of the
Yeah.
blue, my wife, who is not listening to the show,
Mm.
I thought I would try a little sexting and see what kind of reaction I would get. I'll just show you firsthand. This is what I got. I said, "What color panties are you wearing? Are they lacy?"
Nice
And she
one.
said, "Blood-stained from killing my enemies."
Excellent.
And I said,
Wow.
"Ha, ha, ha, sexy." So
That's a hell of a response.
I love her. I love her sense of humor. So yeah, bloodstained from killing my enemies. Which reminds me of one time early in our relationship. She woke. I don't think we were married yet. She woke up in the middle of the night, swinging. She was just going at it, and I'm like, "Oh!" He put up a pillow. I go, "Hey, hey, 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 wake up!" And she's like, "Oh, whoa." I said, "What was that all about?" She said, "I was dreaming that I was fighting off zombies with a broomstick, and I woke up swinging at zombies." And I said, "Well, welcome back." So thanks for not hitting me. So, Jason, you were going to say something.
Was I, or was I just
I don't know,
listening and showing up because, you know, the usual suspects and trouble always has to be here.
Always, always.
You know, I have done the online dating thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually had a reasonable amount of success with it. I've had a couple of long-term relationships, like not extremely long-term relationships, but reasonable, you know, come out of it. I think a lot of it, you know, Niall does bring up a good point on what are your own motives, right? If you don't understand your own motives when you're walking into it, well, you know, you're probably falling into the situation or the under the heading of a danger to oneself and everyone else around you, because what are you there for, right? You could end up leading people on or developing, you know, somebody developing more feelings for you than them. You're not really into it. You're not there to actually find relationships. So, but that's a valid point about why are you there and knowing why you're there and understanding what your motives are.
Just to clarify that, JP, what I meant was why I question my own motives is sometimes there's kind of subliminal. You can't even read them yourself. You think, I really want to meet someone, and then when you do meet someone and you're presented with the opportunity for a serious relationship. In my case, I thought to myself, I'm not sure if I really want to go 100% there. You know, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that.
Pardon me. Yeah. Pardon my interruption. Rocky Stucci is in the room. How you doing, Stucci? This is Cannoli. That's his nickname for me. Cannoli. You know why? Because I thought what was it that I thought was a cannoli, and I used the wrong word. Some other Italian dish that starts. What's the thing that you?
Cannoli
the
is an Italian dish.
There's a pastry, and then there's a
cannoli is a pastry.
What's the other one that you fold over? It's got meat and cheese in it. You fold it over.
Oh, calzone.
Calzone. And I was telling him, yeah, we had this great cannoli for dinner. He goes, you had cannoli for dinner?
Cannoli for dinner?
He said, that's kind of weird. I go, yeah, it was a big one too. It was like huge. And I said, I'd bite, and I said, you know, whipped cream would come out of one end, and I'd have it all over my face. And he goes, whipped cream on a cannoli? And I go, yeah. And this is when we were doing radio together. And
you mean a calzone?
You're talking about a calzone?
No, a calzone is the one that has stuff in it. The cannoli is the one that has the whip in it.
Yeah, it had meat and cheese and whatever, the other way around. And so he nicknamed me in his mafioso way. He nicknamed me Cannoli. And by the way, Wendy, Rocky says, "How you doing?"
How you doing, Rocky? Nice to see you, my friend. Nice to see you.
Sorry to interrupt the flow of things here.
No,
Rocky's one of my closest friends. He's I love the man, and he said, we got in a 30-minute argument over it. LOL, online or on the radio show. Yes, we did. So Rocky's down in Texas now.
Sorry, can I just ask about your background? You seem very like Prime Minister.
Who, Wendy or me?
Who?
Or Jason?
Yeah, no, you.
Oh, me? My background?
Are you like a politician or something?
It's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not a politician. Although I've been accused of being political.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all? No, I'm just a hey, there's Sterling. Wildheart, tell everybody about this person you like, where she lives, her status, your plans to meet, what you need to do, etc. So I'm just an artist. I draw pictures for a living.
I'll not mention any names, but basically I'm 42 years old. I've never had a proper relationship with anyone. I think I have autism. I've just got into jail on Monday. I'm alcoholic, recovering alcoholic. And so I'm just looking for advice on kind of dating. I'm kind of in love with a person from America, but we've only spoken online. That's a lot to take in, but I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
The woman you're interested in is in the States, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
And how did you meet her?
Through I have an online YouTube channel as well. It was just we have kind of religious debate community kind of thing.
Does she know anything about how you feel about her?
Yeah, we spoke for some time.
And how did that go?
Yeah, she's not in the same place that I am, but
ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Story of all our lives, baby.
Yep.
You meet somebody amazing, and either they're in the wrong country or in the wrong time of their life or on the wrong page, and you're just like, where the hell are they at the same time as me?
Right.
I'm ready.
Right.
So, but I think you've got to be yourself, right? And you can't help where your heart lies. And the only advice I could ever give you, and if it's that, is just be your authentic self, and just you've got a few challenges there, my lovely, but you know what? They make us a tougher and stronger and wiser person when we get over them. And you will, if you've got that courage and strength, you will get over them. It sounds like you are. You're starting that process, but. Love is, as I said, love can come anywhere, but actually finding someone who's actually going to have your back and go through those challenges with you, they're a rarity.
Thank you very much.
There it is. That's some of the best advice.
And obviously,
great source.
Sterling's got your back as well when he says,
so Sterling is a good friend. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Are you going to meet her, or what's the plan?
The plan, I've actually been looking for flights to America. Ooh. It's £1,300 currently.
Really?
Yeah.
Flights, and they're not that expensive. Where are you going?
I'm
Michigan. Is she in the Detroit area? Detroit, Michigan area?
I'm not sure. I know Michigan. I'm not sure exactly where. But
what part of the UK are you from? We don't have to tell me the town. What area?
Manchester, Wigan, Bolton, Alison. Yeah. The north. Yeah.
The north. You're from the north.
Lanark? Did you say?
The north. It's quite nice because we've got like a bit of an island being my neighbours. But we've got
island as well.
The whole European UK side on here tonight. Like evening it up, it's really nice because normally, as I said, I'm out here on my own with these lovely Americans. So it's kind of nice to have you guys with me.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And the guy from Ireland, my granddad was Irish, so I'm a quarter Irish.
Yeah, my grandparents were from.
In fact, Wendy, we're outnumbering them tonight. So 3 against 2.
You Brits, you British Empire people.
Well, it's Team Ireland.
Not a Brit. Ireland is not Britain.
Team Ireland, team. What part of Ireland are you from?
I learned that lesson the hard way once.
I was well, I grew up in Dublin, but I'm currently living in Galway for a long time.
Because my mum's side comes from Dublin.
Yeah.
And so my mum's side is Irish.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm Irish, and I think on my dad's side is Scottish and from the north.
Yeah.
So I have from the north, as in north of England. You know, like, Sunderland and
Sunderland, yeah.
And then going up towards Scotland. So I've discovered more about my family recently, and I'm like, I quite like that I've got that Celtic bloodline.
Oh, you've got a strong Celtic bloodline. Sounds like it. Yeah, which is great, you know. So
like my ancestors are all Welsh in our line, but then I did the DNA thing, and they updated it a couple of years later and said I had 16% Scandinavian blood. I said, none of these Scandinavian names in our family. So I attribute that to like Viking raiders on my ancestors in like the 8th or 9th century.
Well, you could also look at when people immigrate. I mean, look at Ellis Island and everything that went on with changing of the spellings of the names just so they would be socially accepted.
Right.
When they got here. I mean, if you want to talk about the Irish and American and looking at names, it's a perfect example of people dropping various, portions of their name just so they wouldn't have to deal with Nina signs stuck up in windows. No Irish need apply. And all of the other incorrect assumptions about the Irish coming to America and the people of the diaspora. The whole thing with Irish being drunkards is a relatively new
relatively new
opinion.
Well, yeah, relatively.
I married a boy from the Falls Road area, and let me tell you, West Belfast was quite. My dad was a copper. My stepfather was a prison officer, and his whole family came from West Belfast, from the Falls Road, and they were the most wonderful people, very, very friendly, and they came over here and made me feel incredibly part of the family. And so I've seen it from both sides of the track. And my second husband was Scottish Canadian. So I obviously Scottish went out to Canada. And the Celts are just the most amazing people. And I'm very proud to have them in my bloodline.
Yeah,
right.
We tend to be pretty outspoken. That's the only kind of
Must be where I get it from.
Yeah.
The Irish are amazingly friendly though. And loving people.
Well, as we can be. Yeah. But
I hear my wife is upstairs. I hear her absolutely belly laughing up there. I don't know what she's laughing about, but she's going, oh, 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 oh. I hear that through the floor. Anyway, go ahead.
But
I don't know if that was carrying over the microphone.
different cultures dating as well, because I've dated, as you said, Canadian and Scottish and Irish. Different cultures come from, when we date someone from a different culture as well, there's a lot of different challenges and also a different things to get used to. What two people from London might be completely different with someone from using this as an example from the Falls Road and from London. We're very, very different. We all come from very different backgrounds. We're all trying to find our way. I remember when I went to Canada, the Canadians are lovely people, but I'm sure my ex-mother-in-law thought, oh my God, she's gonna take my son away from me. And I was like, actually, how about he's taking me away from my family and London. And I think that dating is a hard thing to do. Let me tell you, David, I know you're in, your heart belongs to someone across the world, and that's a really hard thing to do, because I've been there, done it, and ticked it off. And you want to be with them, and you want to see them, and you want to spend time with them, but the timeline, money, it's not easy. You have to be consistent. And I traveled 23 times in 2 years to Canada. 23. So I would go to Canada, I would spend a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months, and then I'd come back here and I wasn't with my husband. And it was awful because, he obviously needed support with his addiction. So it's not for the faint-hearted. So I think that people that do the whole dating across long distance, whether it's across the United Kingdom or whether it's across the world, I take my hat off them because love is tough. Whether it's tougher across the world. There he is. Hello.
Hey, Sterling, welcome.
Hey,
I got to tell you, we only got a few minutes left before we're going to pull the plug on this show. But
okay,
no.
well,
No.
well, listen, it's good to see you, Scotty. And Wendy, I told Wildheart, I said, when you get in there, right off the jump, tell them both that I said they look amazing. And he came in here and he said it. And he said it, he took the credit for that.
Sorry, I meant to say that you two look amazing from Sterling. Yeah, sorry I missed out that bit.
Thank you, Sterling.
Well, Wendy looks amazing. I just try to fill in. So
He does.
Listen. I have a lag. Listen, YouTube. Listen, I know my internet is bad. Bear with me one second. Please help my friend Wildheart, because I know we don't have a lot of time, but he's already told you he's 42.
That's how bad his internet is. We lost you, Sterling.
You need to give him a minute to come back on because he's desperate to try and get that out.
I'm kind of nervous now. Yeah, I have.
This is Morgan Snow in the chat room said her husband, she found out, her late husband, found out his family had changed their name. They emigrated from Ireland. And it says Murphy was the surname. It was changed because he was wanted for murder. Grandma spilled the family secret. And now that's an interesting. Sterling, I saw you pop back in. I went to click you in, and you vanished again.
Did you?
Yeah, I want to hear what Sterling's got to say, actually.
Because, like, Niall, when I was married to my first husband, who was Irish, my surname was Moore, and there was Mira. They used to pronounce it Mira, Mrs. Mira, and I was like Mira. So
I know. Yeah, it must have sounded
Sterling. Spit out what you got to say before we lose you again.
Yeah, and I turned on my Wi-Fi, so hopefully this will be better. I don't know how much you heard, but I want y'all to help Wildheart. You know, he needs some help. He told you he's 42 and he's never had a relationship, but he's met someone, and he's been struggling, and he's consistently told me how much he likes this person, loves this person.
That's neat.
In love with this person. Like, I mean, and she knows it. They talk all the time, except sometimes when he messes up, Wildheart, and I'll leave that up to you to go into that.
Yeah.
But she's concerned because of his struggles. And I guess the question would become, should he fix himself first and find love later? Or could it be at the same time? And like, what if he bought a ticket, and I'll drop out, Scotty, but what if he bought a ticket 8 weeks from now, 12 weeks from now, as something to look forward to and motivate himself? Would that be helpful?
That might be helpful. I would say if you feel like you got to fix yourself for somebody, don't even try. Maybe there are superficial things you want to take care of. Oh, I got to get a haircut before I meet this person, or I'd like to lose 20 pounds before I meet the love of my life, or in my case, 50. Or whatever it might be. I think if you are, I got to change some things. There might be a little bit of. I'd like to. I'd like to meet this woman and have a relationship with her, but I don't make any money. What do I have to tempt her with? What do I have to? And I think obviously there's things that we might view about ourselves, but that other person might not see it the same way.
It's more serious than that. I'm an alcoholic. I drink a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that can be a problem.
What was that again?
Yeah.
David, sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you cut again to you got alcoholism? What was the other thing you said?
Yeah. No, I am alcoholic. That's the main thing.
How long have you had that?
Like decades. Like 30 years.
Have you had have you gone into like rehab or counseling for it?
No, I've been into prison like 6 times in the last 12 months. So I've not been drinking for a period.
But due to the alcoholism?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I understand. I was married to an alcoholic once.
Yeah.
I understand that exists. I'm not an alcoholic. I can have an addictive personality at times. It depends on what it is. I know it's a completely different thing, but I gave up smoking about 4 months ago. Now, that's not a very long time, but I took this road trip up to a client's. I left earlier this week, and I thought, boy, when the last time I went up, I was still smoking, and I always enjoyed that. When I'm in the car for 3 hours, light up, smoke 2 or 3 on the way up. So I actually had a pack of cigarettes that was still sitting in the garage. So I grabbed it. I thought, if I'm going to have one, I'll just take it up with me. And you know what? I drove up the whole way. And there were a couple of times I said, now is the time I would light up. I thought, I'll wait. I'll save it. Not right now. All right. And, and I drove there. And when I drove back yesterday, never lit up a cigarette. Because I just determined I just don't want to do that. It sounds great. It sounds appealing. I would love to do that. But I know as soon as I'll do it, I'll smoke more. And so I just said, you just won't. Now, I understand alcoholism is probably very different.
David,
it's actually very similar. The between alcohol and tobacco. Yeah, because I also smoke as well. It's actually very similar. Yeah.
Okay.
David, I just wanted to share with you, I have a background in therapy and I worked in prisons as well. And are you out of prison just now? Are you in it right now?
Yeah. No, I mean I'm out of prison at the moment.
You're out. What sort of plan have you got in place to help to hold your alcoholism back? What have you got?
I've got a lot of things. The probation and doing things. I'm in touch with the local drug and alcohol team.
Okay.
I'm in touch with AA as well.
And from my experience, most people can go down that road because of something that's happened, or it's to block out a lot, or it lifts them. There's lots of different reasons why. We all need something to aim for. We all need something to hope for and go for. I would definitely say never put your happiness in someone else's hands, because someone else will let you down. You have to put happiness in your own hands. But you all must have a dream to aim for and somewhere to aim for. So if you want to meet this young lady and you want to see how you guys get on, I would make sure you are the best version of yourself, as in the healthiest version of yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't talk to her. That doesn't mean that you can't go out and see her. But it's like, make sure you're the healthiest version. So perhaps you're not drinking, you haven't relapsed. But at the same time, she also, if you were to get into a relationship, she must be aware what she's taking on, and therefore your demons, or flying monkeys, as I like to call them, that will come out and play from time to time. And that's something that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And obviously it sounds like it has been, but you need something to aim for. So in a way, what Sterling's saying to you is, you need something to aim for, but you've also got to take care of yourself and do it for you, because you're worth it, David. And if you don't see yourself as worth it, then that's going to be a problem. And that's something perhaps a therapy team or probation will. I worked for probation, and I did, as I said, I worked in prison as well for people that are coming out, that have been in for quite a while. Have they given you like therapy as a backup? Have they given that something to you?
Yeah, I am in touch with, as you'll know, in the UK, the NHS talking therapists kind of. Yeah.
I mean, rehab. I mean, Sterling's just put, can I help me get into rehab? Your probation team should be able, or at least give you some help into rehab. The thing is, what you've got to find out, and what the crux is, why do you rely on drink, on any crutch? Why do we rely on it? What is the trigger that sends us back there? And we place it again and again and again. And it's almost like sometimes it's a safety mechanism, sometimes it's a crutch, sometimes it's because it blocks out. We feel like a better person. We have low self-esteem. But you know what? Whatever the reason is, David, you have got to find the answers in yourself, but you've got to have your dreams to aim for. Never let anyone take your dreams away from you. And another thing, never let alcohol take your dreams from you.
Yeah. Thank
you go.
And if we could keep in touch possibly in the future.
Well, I mean, Robertson has our Facebook page, and you can find Scotty and I on Facebook as well. But I would definitely suggest, I mean, from my experience when I worked in probation and also with counselling in prisons, it's like they should have a package for you when you come out to do this, right? And if they haven't, I'd be kicking my probation officer saying, "Look, I need help with this."
No, they have given me all the resources that they can.
And every time you feel your trigger is going to come out and say hello, your old demons are going to come out. Try. It's not a win-win situation. You're going to be fighting this thing for the rest of your life, but you've got to believe that you're worth it and you deserve it, right? And
there
until
you go.
you get to that point of view, it's you deserve it. And this young lady, whoever she is, I mean, you want to be yourself, but be the best version of yourself. I hope that helped, David. I really hope.
That helps a lot.
That's good. That's good advice, David. That's good advice from Wendy.
Outstanding advice.
It's the best advice you could possibly hear from anybody.
I'm going to tell you that, David. That is very good advice.
Just told you.
So take it to heart, wild heart, and. I'm going to let you go because we're at the end of our show. I don't mean to diminish anything that was said or anything that's on your heart or mind, but we got to start to wrap it up. So you call back anytime and look us both up online, and I'm sure
David, keep that good.
There's a lot more that can be said.
Cheers.
All right, see you later. All right, and you two, rapscallions.
Talk to you soon.
I'll take it.
I'll take it as I'd rather be called a rapscallion. What do you want to be, a rapscallion or a scoundrel?
Good show. It was good to see you.
That's a tough one.
Talk to you again. Take care.
I'm glad you called in. It's good to see you, Jason.
It's good seeing you guys.
Talk soon, guys. See you. All right. And Wendy, it's just come down to you and me again.
It's me and you now, Scotty. Shh.
Don't tell.
It's been a really good show. I hope people have got something for it. This is why we came back to this subject. And I think relationships tend to be our forte, don't they?
It's getting there. We're certainly not experts, but we know a little something.
Because I'm learning as much as you all are,
Yeah. Well, as always, it has been fun. It's been interesting and exciting. We will talk, you and I, again soon about some other things.
We will be back next Tuesday, isn't it?
Next Tuesday, yes.
And it's my birthday next Tuesday.
That'll be your birthday.
Boom.
I'm not going to lie and say she's 29. She's 34. 34.
We have to wish Tracy a happy birthday because it's her birthday tomorrow.
Whose?
Tracy's birthday.
Tracy. Happy birthday, Tracy. Did you come over for a little what do they call them? Pajama party or something to celebrate your birthday?
Having a little party this weekend. So
right on.
Joint birthday party.
There you go. Well, come on camera for a second again, Tracy. Come on. Not going to do it, huh?
But I'm trying to put she'll be on Sunday on Wicked Women.
All right. Fantastic.
The UK's coming in strong.
Coming in strong. All right. Oh wow, then she'll be old enough. Yay, said Elderberry.
Just 48 again.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this baby up. Wendy, as always, good to see you. Thank you, Sterling. There you go, Wendy.
Sure.
So I think that goes into my account, but
me to read that because I can't see.
You'll have to beat it out of me.
At least At least I get to see a dream after I wake today. Hi, Wendy. Ruff. Oh my God. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Sterling. That was a nice gesture. I appreciate that.
Yes, bless your heart. We're glad.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We will be back next week. I will be back tomorrow night with Intrepid Radio. And remember, Intrepid Radio, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then we have Sunday. It's Sunday. Wendy and I do Robertson. On Tuesdays. Today was an exception because we missed Tuesday. We did today. So don't expect us next Thursday. Expect us next Tuesday. And Wendy has Wicked Women at 4 p.m, 10 p.m. Great Britain time on Sunday. And then let's just say a couple of things. Kenny Ballos says Morning Coffee with Kenny, with KB. And am I missing anybody? I think that's it.
Well, I think Val has a show which she's hoping to bring back in February, which is the paranormal one. But it's like we all have it. We're a little family. We all bring our shows on, and we all gel with each other. But we're here to help other people, and if it helps, like we have today, come and join us. But sure, so Wicked Women is back Sunday night at 10 o'clock UK time. Hopefully, you can all come and join us and watch Scotty on his show tomorrow night. I don't know what I'm talking about yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. Intrepid Radio right here. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Wendy, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. You're magnificent as ever. And everybody else, as soon as I find my button, Wendy, help me find my button. Press the button, baby.
Oh, behave.
Behave.
All right, here we go. We're on our way out. So everybody, live long and prosper.